suite that I'm talking about can be found on pages 90 and 91 to start with. So if you head there, you'll be able to see the gorgeousness that is Sun Prints. So here are the dies that go with this bundle, and then also the stamp set. And I'm going to show you the designer series paper separately. So, and then we've got this great fern embossing folder, which I'm not going to show you today, but it is available also in this suite. But what I would say is the easiest thing to do when you are loving every single thing in a suite, I don't even have these adhered down yet, is to get your hands on the entire thing with just one order number. On page 90, you can find that order number, and the entire suite is $76.75. So it's a good deal for a lot of different product. So we've got the Nature's Prints bundle, like I said, the fern embossing folder, and then I'm going to bring in the designer series paper as well. Because it is, oops, I lost a die. Oops. I'll get those taped down. I will be posting all kinds of cool things about this product. I'm not going to promise this weekend because I just found out some interesting information that puts Grace and me on the road a little bit earlier than planned. So, hi, Joyce. We are here in the catalog kickoff group. I hope that's where we are. That's where I intended to be. It is private only for those of you who have taken the time to join the group. So thanks for being here. I love it. So this Nature's Prints, is that what it's called? Sun Prints Designer Series paper. I should have known that because the suite is called Sun Prints. Has these gorgeous designs, white designs on blue background, and then just some interesting other designs as well. And here are just all of the beautiful pieces. Now, let me remind you that I do a paper share. If you want to get your hands on every single brand new of the designer series papers, you can do that by joining my paper share. And then you're not purchasing the whole kit and caboodle. You are just getting a piece of each. And then what happens is, you'll find out which ones you like the most, and then you can get the larger packs from there. So now I'm going to do the flip side, and let's see, the coordinating color here I believe is gray granite. So you've got all of these beautiful blues and then the gray granite that coordinates. I love this one because it's just such a marbly pretty, it's got just a pretty, very neutrally background. So then here are all of the back sides of this gorgeous paper. But what you may not have known, and I'm, like I said before some of you came on, it's good to have your catalog handy because I cannot show the insides of the catalog yet. So when I go live with these, I will be sharing page numbers. And I invite you to have your catalog handy so that when I give you the page numbers, you're able to check it out. If you go to page 133, there is also a Pretty Prints pack of designer series paper. And what this is are some of the same designs that I just showed you in the Sun Prints DSP. And now they come in different colors in this pack. So here you've got, all kinds of colors are melded into these papers. And it's for each of 3 double-sided designs. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Anyway, it comes in different colors. I'm not even going to count them all for you because I have some of them flipped and flopped soft and it would be too hard. So basically we have Evening Evergreen, Calypso Coral, Rich Razzleberry, and then Bermuda Bay. But there are tons of other colors swooshed in there. As you can see, there's a lot of shading happening. And then if you go to the back side, then you can see some of those gorgeous designs on the other side. So really, although the blue is focused on in this suite, we have all kinds of colors for the same, some of the same papers in that pack, which I love. I think that is such a cool thing that Stampin' Up! Did. So you can find those papers on pages 133 and 134. Then I'm going to bring in some of my supplies for today's project. I've got some Evening Evergreen, and this one what I'm going to try and do, and I'm not going to make any promises, but I really would like to intend to do these things, to do a little just a measurement thing for you in the comments section, because what that does is it allows you to locate the video and then have those measurements without watching the whole video again. So that's my intention. But this is cut at 5.5 by 11, and then scored at 4.25 and 8.5. And then this 2.5 inch flap will be used in a cool way as well. So I'm going to start with just creasing these as I tell you a little bit more about what I'm doing here. I've got my Evening Evergreen, and I have cut out a window using the stitched rectangle dies, which is a good old go-to for a lot of different things. And then here we have some of our new vellum. So I'm gonna direct you to that page next, if I can. I should have had them all marked. I'm very sorry. If you go to page 139, you will see the Botanical Layers bundle. And that includes, the Lovely Layers Vellum, which coordinates also with the Botanical Layers bundle. And that's super fun that all of these products coordinate, which of course is one of the biggest reasons I am a huge Stampin' Up! Fan. So all of these vellums I'm going to show you in just a second, but first I'm going to start with my card. So the vellums come in 3 3/4 by 5, and the hole here that I have cut is using the second to the largest stitch rectangle die, and I'm just putting a little bit of adhesive all the way around the hole because I'm going to now adhere that vellum to the inside of that opening. Okay, so then it's going to show on the outside, and the glue will dry clear, so I'm not too worried about that. I just don't want it tacky and sticking where I don't want it to stick. All right, so then in the meantime, I also did a old olive frame, and this is done with the largest 2 dies. Run them through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine together at the same time. Okay. I got to pull you up here because right now I am not seeing any comments, and you may not be commenting, which is fine. I just don't want to miss anything. So I'm using some good old greens here in our project today, including our old olive. And so what I wanted to do is just create a little frame on the inside, so the inside would look nice as well. All right, so I'm going to layer that just like this. It looks pretty nice and fancy there. I'm going to bring the camera in just a little bit. All right, so now what's next? All right, so I keep saying all right, so I'm sorry. I'm excited. and maybe that is evident in my crazy all right so's today. All right, I'm going to bring in a piece of grid paper and excuse me. I am going to stamp, take my old olive ink, and I'm going to ink up my leafy stamp here. And I'm going to go right at the bottom. And I love the detail on these stamps. Check that out. It's so pretty. And then I'm going to do this again about here. And that's it for my old olive. So then I'm going to grab garden green next. And I'll use the fern. I should grow ferns in my garden, and somebody said, you don't want to do that. And I'm not sure that I don't want to do that. I kind of think I do want to do that, but what do I know? I like ferns. I think they're pretty. All right, so I'm just going to kind of create a little border of foliage here. And then finally, I'm going to grab my evening evergreen. Now, remember that when I come out with the catalog scavenger hunt, you will be able to possibly, you will be able to earn a chance to possibly win all of the cards I make on these lives. So, for those of you who have won it before, you know how amazing it is to get all of these cards. Okay. Then we're going to bring over our card. And then we're going to adhere this piece just to the outside of this flap right here. So, I'm sorry, I'm still trying to find you. Am I in the wrong group? I don't know what's going on. All right, so I'm only going to put adhesive on half, and since I have my liquid glue out. By the way, maybe you saw my post, no, I didn't post earlier. If any of you have been waiting for Stamp and Seal, it is now in our online store, so you can get it now. I was trying to be careful as much as possible, not to use too much. But now you can see how layering those greens in there just kind of fills in the vellum when the card is closed. And then we're going to add a piece here as well. And that'll just be a quarter sheet of white, which I, of course, neglected to cut in advance. But it's pretty easy. I can do it. So 5 1/4 by 4. I do a lot of measuring and cutting, so some of this is just really second nature. So not too bad. And then I'm just going to stick this on the inside to give us a little something too. And you know what I could do? It would be really pretty is add some evening evergreen of the Prince DSP. Ooh, All right, so here we've got this cool card. Thank you, Becky. And then we're going to bring in a couple labels. So the first one comes from the die set. You may have noticed that when I had the die set out here. And then I'm going to grab my evening evergreen. And then a heartfelt thank you. And this comes from the stamp set in the bundle. It's a very pretty sentiment and font. So I'm just going to zoom in a little bit more in there. And then we're going to take our label, and this is the Label Me Lovely. I always have to look. I have it marked on the back of my punch because I can never remember if it's Label Me Lovely or Label Me Fancy. And I'm gonna make a little sweeter work of my glue here because it's gonna be seen, sort of, on the other side of this vellum. So I want to make sure. Okay. And then we'll pop up our sentiment here. So I love, oh, not yet. I believe I have some, oh, here. Okay, so I'm glad I caught myself. I grabbed my die and I cut out just a old olive wreath, and you maybe saw that die also when I showed the dies earlier. And then I'm just going to take a piece of that wreath. So you kind of got to decide, where's best to cut. So I'm going to cut right in here and just kind of take my wreath apart a little bit. So some of you probably remember my niece gets married this weekend. So we were going to head out tomorrow, and now it looks like Grace's game has been canceled tonight. So we are probably going to hit the road tonight, which will be kind of nice. And then I am going to add this over here, or maybe over here. It's always fun to work on the fly, and I usually do that, and you know that. I have a plan, but I don't typically make my sample in advance, which is, for me, it's super fun, because then I get to play in front of you and just kind of make some decisions on the fly. But so we'll just do that, and then we'll pop this up, and look how much just that little bit of old olive adds that color. I like that. Makes me happy. And also, I'm going to be careful where I add my dimensionals, because you know what? I stamped that on the wrong side. That is just silly, aim. It's my eyes in this. I had my glasses on, but let's try that again. Beautiful, a second time. All right, and then I'm going to be careful not to add my dimensionals too far out, because that will show when we layer those as well. Okay, so I got to move that one in just a little bit. Even dimensionals are movable. I'm telling you. You can move anything. Oh my gosh, so beautiful. And I went to look in my punches to see what punch was going to coordinate with this die, and I think Label Me Lovely works pretty well. All right, so there is my card. Kind of fun, and you can see how that glue did show through a little bit, so got to be a little bit careful. But I do want to show you how this vellum comes. All right, so we've got the one that I used, and there are, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oops, there's another one back there. There's 5 each of 4 designs. All right, so here's that one. Then there's just some with dots. Let me grab a piece of, I don't know that that's helpful. Just, I want you to be able to see it better. So let me grab some white. I think that'll do. All right, so 5 of those. And then these are interesting. There is a sample in our book on, oh, now I got to get back to that page. But it shows this being used with a blue behind it, and it's super pretty. That is on page 93. Page 93, you can see a sample. Hi, Carla. Good to see you still. Page 93, you can see a sample with this one. So there's 5 of those. And then 5 of these, which are kind of fun. So they've got the circles. So these, remember, are 3 3/4 by 5. And then the other thing is there are 20 plain pieces of vellum, 3 3/4 by 5. So what this allows is for us not to have to do all that cutting for our vellum pieces, and it creates a great layer for your card. So using Vellum allows you to do window cards like this and different things as well.